The best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is now. A man who asks is a fool for 5 minutes. A man who never asks is a fool for life. Patience is a bitter plant, but its fruit is sweet. A man who cannot tolerate small misfortunes can never accomplish great things. A wise man makes his own decisions, but an ignorant man mindlessly follows the crowd. He who thinks too much about every step he takes will always stay on one leg. In a group of many words, there is bound to be a mistake somewhere in them. The man who says he can, and the man who says he cannot, are both correct. We have two lives, and the second begins when we realize we only have one. He who cannot describe the problem will never find the solution to that problem. Those who know the truth are not equal to those who love it. To see what is right and not to do it is one of courage, or of principle. Those who cannot forgive others break the bridge over which they themselves must pass. By nature, men are nearly alike. By practice, they get to be wide apart. To be wronged is nothing, unless you continue to remember it. If you are the smartest person in the room, then you are in the wrong room. Don't complain about the snow on your neighbor's roof when your own doorstep is unclean. The superior man thinks always of virtue, the common man thinks of comfort. Real knowledge is to know the extent of one's ignorance. Life is really simple, but we insist on making it complicated. Better a diamond with a flaw than a pebble without one. I was angered, for I had no shoes. Then I met a man who had no feet. Tell me and I'll forget, show me and I may remember, involve me and I'll understand. Do not confine your children to your own learning, for they were born in another time. If you want to find out about the road ahead, then ask about it from those coming back. To know another is not to know the person's face, but to know the person's heart. It is easy to find 1,000 soldiers, but hard to find a good general. Listening well is as powerful as talking well, and is also as essential to true conversation. If you don't do stupid things you won't end up in tragedy. An inch of time is an inch of gold, but you can't buy that inch of time with an inch of gold. One beam, no matter how big, cannot support an entire house on its own. No matter how tall the mountain is, it cannot block the sun. Experience is a comb which nature gives us when we are bald. Better the cottage where one is merry than the palace where one weeps. Before preparing to improve the world, first look around your own home 3 times. There are 2 kinds of perfect people, those who are dead, and those who have not been born yet. Married couples tell each other 1,000 things without speech. A clever person turns great troubles into little ones, and little ones into none at all. It's better to walk thousands of miles than to read thousands of books. The person who is his own master cannot tolerate another boss. If you want to avoid being cheated, ask for prices at 3 different stores. If you want to avoid being cheated, ask for prices at 3 different stores. We should feel sorrow, but not sink under its oppression. He who learns but does not think, is lost. He who thinks but does not learn is in great danger. They must often change, who would be constant in happiness or wisdom. Virtue is not left to stand alone. He who practices it will have neighbors.